The Voice Season 26 Episode 8 Recap. Lots of heartache tonight. The Voice Season 26 continues to display that there is immense talent out there, even from the coaches. The night kicks off with a rousing performance from our quartet singing Heartache Tonight by the Eagles. Now, if you thought Snoop Dogg couldn't sing, you'd be wrong. He does not have as many vocal moments as the tried and true singers of the group, but he holds his own. The irony of the performance is the battle rounds will bring an immense amount of heartache. In the battle rounds, each coach pairs up their roster of artists in hopes of deciding which of the two singers will continue into the knockout round. Of course, with 2 steals already used, there is hope for those who do get cut by their coach. One would think it would take an exceptional performance to earn it. Sometimes, all it takes is a little pull at the heartstrings. Part 2 of the battle starts with 2 of Reba McEntire's eccentric soul singers, Adam Bohannon versus Kevin James Graham. It's an interesting pairing, but one that was necessary, as having both artists on her team was not beneficial in hopes of defending her crown. Bohannon tells Reba during the coaching that he learned to speak with an American accent by watching her show, Reba. If that isn't endearing, I don't know what is. For their battle of Lose Control by Teddy Swims, the modern soul track was outside of Graham's wheelhouse, but his ability to soar on the high notes allowed him to shine. Despite the vocal inability to reach those heights, Bohannon had the natural ease the track calls for. The performance displays 2 drastically different artists that bring the coaches to their feet. Both artists were one-chair turns during the blind auditions, but the journey continues for Adam Bohannon. Unfortunately for Kevin James Graham, no coaches steal him. Snoop Dogg continues his journey of pairing drastically different artists together, as his first battle of the night is between Queens native Christio and the Nashville duo act of Mr. Moon. Snoop shares that a major part of why he wants them together is to hear the harmonies. Disadvantage Christio. Christio, who turned 17 during the coaching session, shares that she has made a connection with Mr. Moon as they remind her of her older sister. This is going to be an emotionally savage performance. Snoop chooses Amy Winehouse's version of Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow for this battle, a track that couldn't be further away from both artists. His goal is to push their voices. This was a big song for Christio and has the disadvantage of the unique blend Mr. Moon naturally has. Savs and Leah Colin both have their solo moments, but when they come together, they showcase their superstardom. As much as they would love to become a supergroup called Mundo, only one artist can advance. The DOGG selects Christio as the winner of the battle. It's a stunning decision. Were the tears during Christio's critiques the thing that swayed his decision? It's very likely. Mr. Moon walks away with no steals, a very unwise decision. It's a character voice battle for Michael Bublé as he pairs up crooner Edward Preble against the folk stylings of Mark Sheba. They are totally different singers, and Bublé thinks he can find a song that sits in both their worlds. For their performance, Preble and Sheba sing Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World. Bublé states that Louis Armstrong changed music forever as he invented something never heard before. Sheba was Bublé's coach's replay and proves why he deserved that second chance. His unique voice gave the song new life. For Edward Preble, it was in his wheelhouse. It was a tad too generic and flat. For Michael Bublé, his decision comes down to heart. Bublé gives the win to the safe performance of Edward Preble. Mark Sheba's refreshing rendition is left on the cutting room floor. This may have been Bublé's worst coaching move thus far, as Preble's longevity beyond this game will be tough. He doesn't quite have the legs to stand on compared to the modernity of Mark Sheba. The Voice Season 26, Episode 8 was an emotional roller coaster filled with moments of triumph, heartbreak, and unexpected turns. As the competition intensifies, the stakes get higher, and the artists are pushed to their limits. This episode in particular left many contestants and fans alike in a whirlwind of emotions, as it saw both incredible performances and heartbreaking eliminations. The night kicked off with high energy as the remaining artists took the stage, eager to prove they deserve a spot in the next round. The battle rounds were in full swing, and the coaches Blake Shelton, Kelly Clarkson, Niall Horan, and Reba McEntire were ready to make some tough calls. The camaraderie among the coaches is always a highlight of the show, but tonight the focus was squarely on the contestants. The battles begin, highs and lows. The first battle of the night was between two powerhouse vocalists on Team Kelly. Kelly Clarkson, known for her knack for coaching and nurturing talent, had paired these two artists because of their contrasting styles. One singer had a soulful, gospel-infused voice, while the other brought a pop-country flair that Kelly believed could create magic on stage. The performance did not disappoint. They delivered a stunning duet of Whitney Houston's "I Have Nothing," hitting every note with precision and emotion. But as is often the case on The Voice, one artist had to go home. Kelly, visibly torn, ultimately chose to save the pop-country artist, citing their versatility and potential for growth in the competition. The other contestant, though heartbroken, left with grace, knowing they had left everything on the stage. This set the tone for the rest of the night, phenomenal performances, followed by difficult eliminations. Team Blake's showdown, a tough call next up, was a showdown between two artists from Blake Shelton's team. Blake, now a veteran coach on The Voice, has a reputation for grooming country stars, but tonight he had two singers who were anything but traditional country. One was a blues rock singer with a gritty voice that could command attention, while the other had a more folk-influenced sound, soft yet powerful. Their duet of "The House of the Rising Sun" by the Animals was nothing short of electrifying. The two artists displayed a perfect blend of intensity and emotion, leaving the audience in awe. Blake, who is rarely at a loss for words, struggled to make a decision. After much deliberation, he chose to save the blues rock singer, acknowledging their unique voice and stage presence. The folk singer, despite giving one of their best performances, was sent home, leaving both the audience and Blake visibly emotional. Niall's team. The emotional centerpiece, perhaps the most emotional performance of the night, came from Niall Horan's team. Niall, a newer coach, has already made a name for himself with his thoughtful approach to coaching. He paired two contestants with deeply personal stories, one a single mother who had faced numerous challenges in her life, and the other a young man who had overcome a serious illness. Their connection to the song "Fix You" by Coldplay was palpable from the moment they began singing. Their voices intertwined beautifully, each bringing a raw vulnerability to the performance that moved not only the coaches but also the audience to tears. Niall had the unenviable task of choosing between two artists who had poured their hearts and souls into the performance. In the end, he chose the single mother, citing her ability to connect emotionally with the audience. However, he used his one save of the night to keep the young man in the competition, a decision that received a huge round of applause from the audience and the other coaches. Reba's team, a legendary coach's tough decisions. Reba McEntire, a country music icon and a first-time coach on The Voice, had her hands full with two of the strongest vocalists in the competition. One artist had a deep, soulful voice reminiscent of Otis Redding, while the other had a more contemporary pop sound. Reba paired them for a duet of "Ain't No Mountain High Enough," and they brought the house down with their soaring harmonies and infectious energy. Reba, despite her warm and nurturing demeanor, had to make a tough call. She ultimately chose to save the soulful singer, impressed by their ability to command the stage and captivate the audience. The pop singer, though disappointed, took the loss in stride, knowing they had delivered one of their best performances yet. The Steels, a lifeline for some as always, the coaches had the opportunity to steal an artist from another team, and tonight the Steels were in full effect. Kelly Clarkson,